Did you ever consider that the path to ideal weight maintenance begins long before you actually reach it? Picture this. You're on a road, unsure of where it leads or what awaits you at the end. Sound familiar, right? But here's the catch. Successful weight loss isn't about shedding pounds. It's about cultivating a mindset that paves the way for sustained success. So in today's episode, we are diving deep into the art of preparing for maintenance. It's not just about getting there, it's about confidently knowing that you can stay there and truly believing it's within your grasp. So join me today as we unravel the steps to prepare your mind to step into maintenance like a master. Because as we'll explore, maintenance is more than a destination, it's a mindset. Let's embark upon this journey to weight maintenance and come on in. Did you know that our struggle with weight doesn't start with the food on your plate or get fixed in the gym? 80% of our weight struggle is mental. That's right. The key to unlocking long-term weight release and management begins in your mind. Hi there, I'm Rita Black. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, weight loss expert, best-selling author, and the creator of the Shift Weight Mastery process. And not only have I helped thousands of people over the past 20 years achieve long-term weight mastery, I am also a former weight struggler, carb addict, and binge eater. And after 2 decades of failed diets and fad weight loss programs, I lost 40 pounds with the help of hypnosis. Not only did I release all that weight, I have kept it off for 25 years. Enter the Thin Thinking podcast, where you too will learn how to remove the mental roadblocks that keep you struggling. I'll give you the thin thinking tools, skills, and insights to help you develop the mindset you need, not only to achieve your ideal weight, but to stay there long term and live your best life. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Happy February. How are you? And happy birthday to all of you Aquariuses out there if you are listening to this in the month of February. This week is my sister's birthday. My lovely sister Paula, lives in England. Happy birthday, Paula. Well, she doesn't really listen to this podcast. And my sister, by the way, has been thin her entire life. Yes, she is one of those people. I had the joy of living with a sister who was beautiful from the top of her head down to the tips of her toes and always has been. And sometimes that was the bane of my existence. But my sister and I are closer than ever now. It's funny. My sister, my father was always naturally thin and my mother was very overweight. And my mother always wasn't always overweight, but she became very, very overweight and was so for a good part of her life. And I know I've talked about that a lot before, and we are not going to talk about that right now. But what I did want to say was I think I inherited more of my genetic propensity for weight from my mother, and my sister got my dad's genes. And she has a different physique than me. She has very long legs, lovely, just everything, arms, chest, all of that, just the perfect package. And not that I love my body and everything, but, as I struggled with my weight, it was a little hard to have a sister who could seemingly eat anything she wanted and not gain weight. When I, desperately tried hard to manage my weight, and it seemed like any cookie or anything I ate caused me to gain 10 pounds. So some of you know this, maybe all of you know this, but I have a machine in my office in Los Angeles that measures your metabolism. So one time when my sister was visiting, it was before she went through menopause, but it was many years ago. I got her in my office and I measured her metabolism. And sure enough, her metabolism was about 500 or 600 calories more. She burned about 500 or 600 calories more than me per day. Now, my sister, being kind of ignorant of the whole world of weight management, was like, well, that's not very much. And I said, Well, you realize that that's like a glass of wine and a serving of tiramisu, don't you? And she's like, no. So anyway, I felt a little vindicated by that because then, obviously I knew that it was some genetic, it wasn't just luck, it was just her genetic propensity and metabolism can be, we have a genetic predisposed metabolism among many other things, but just FYI, I was personally vindicated. So happy birthday, my lovely sister, even though you aren't listening to this podcast, but happy birthday to all my lovely, beautiful Aquariuses out there. I'm so glad that you are here with me today and all you other horoscope sign people. All right. So I want to let you know that we are sponsoring today my Shift Out of Sugar Cravings hypnosis session. My free Shift Out of Sugar Cravings hypnosis session is sponsoring this episode because it's Valentine's Day coming up, and I love you, and I want you to be healthy this month. So here's my invitation to you. No buying bad chocolate at half price on February 15th. Or those horrible candy hearts, which are so addictive, or any of those other Valentine's candies, leaving them on the shelves, even though they might be half price or 99 cents or whatever. And instead, listen to my hypnosis, Shift Out of Sugar Cravings. It's free. That's a deal. And you can find that in the link for that in the show notes, and just feel my love the entire time coursing through you as you listen to that hypnosis session. Now, I know for many of you, most of you listening to this podcast, it's winter. And in some parts, hey, Australia, hey, New Zealand, it's summer. And some of you, my listeners in South America, in the southern parts of the world, it is summer. But for us here in the frigid north, it is winter. And for those of you who are even further north than me, the ground is frozen and muddy. So even if you are a gardener, right now you can't really go out and plant anything. But I know for many of my northern gardening friends, planting season begins in your mind before you plant the first seed. And right now it's the time, February is the time you get those catalogs for the seeds and you start fantasizing about your garden and what you're going to plant in it. And it's so fun. I love getting those. Now, even though I do have a winter garden here, I love just fantasizing about the summer, the spring, because every season here, you're always planting, you're always thinking ahead, and you're always managing the soil because the soil has different demands for the different seeds that you plant. And so as I have gotten better and better at gardening, although I have killed a lot of plants this winter, and I don't know what it is. Is it the sun or something? But my beets just aren't growing, and it just gets me. But anyway, enough about my beets. The point I'm making is that, sometimes we get these catalogs, and don't they make everything look amazing? The tomatoes are so red, and the beets look so amazing, and the flowers look so amazing, and then you plant them in your garden and they don't look so amazing. And it can cause one to compare and despair and give up. And it can be like that with weight maintenance. We lose weight, we hit our goal, and sometimes it doesn't look like what you think it's going to look like. It can feel weird. It can feel scary. It can make you feel really, really insecure. And we often, if we haven't been learning how to feed ourselves in a way that we enjoy and love as we are releasing weight, we often don't know how to feed ourselves because we've just been focused on losing weight and some specific type of diet or being good. And we can even develop what you would consider imposter syndrome. So today, our episode is about prepping for maintenance. Because the more you know what's coming up, the more your subconscious mind can wrap around it and prepare you for success. It's just like gardening. Even before you plant the seeds and reap the harvest, you have got to prepare the soil ahead of time. My monthly mastery group, right now a number of people are in maintenance mode, and learning that it isn't just something that happens, magically when you hit your goal weight, but it's something that is cultivated. It's a beingness. It's not, and it's a mindset. It's not just, well, I got to my goal weight, now I'm going to maintain. It's a transformational process in of itself. So I bet, I'm talking to you if you're, out there in the world and you're wanting something thinking, I'm assuming that you've probably at one point in your life maybe got to goal weight or lost some weight, and maybe you got to that goal weight and you were there for a week or a month or, even a year or more. I know for me, sometimes it was a few minutes or a few hours, hitting ideal weight. We want it so much. We think about it. We work so hard for it. And it's so thrilling to reach our ideal weight. But it can be so confronting. There's a lot of us that get to our ideal weight. And, we thought life is going to be so different at my ideal weight. Like when I can get in those skinny jeans and I can, go into the club or, do some chin-ups at the gym or whatever our thing is, like why we're getting thin, other than health and for health too, of course. But, it can be really like, is that all there is? Like, I thought I was going to feel different. I thought I was going to be different. I thought, I'd like myself more. And it can be a place where we are afraid, because we've worked so hard for this and we get there and, it's exhilarating. And like I said, all these different things come up. Sometimes people get to their ideal weight and then they don't feel different. So they're like, I want to keep losing weight because I think if I lost 5 more pounds, I would feel better. And then that becomes a challenge because they lose 5 more pounds or they can't lose those 5 pounds. And then it's back and up and down and up and down. And then they start gaining weight again. So, there always brings up that I am not enough. I am not enough. When we lose weight from this place of I'm in pain, I'm going to lose weight. And when I lose weight, I will be enough. Right. But, we've got to be enough as we're releasing weight. So that when we get to our ideal weight, we're like, cool, I'm here and I love myself because I've been loving myself down the scale, right? So, let's think this all through the thin thinking lens, shall we? So I do want to talk about weight maintenance beforehand. Like, how do you prepare for creating beforehand prep, creating a maintenance mindset. So number 1, love yourself down the scale. So it's not about escaping pain, like I'm fat, I've got to lose weight, or I've got to lose weight, I've got to get that to, lose 20 more pounds so I look fantastic and I can finally allow myself to feel good about myself. No, we've got to start where we are, where we're at, and say, I appreciate myself. And your journey of weight release is about creating a new and powerful way of communicating with yourself, of self-respect, of conferring with yourself, of working through and creating a way of eating that you love, not depriving yourself down the scale, but truly evolving and transforming yourself and transforming your life. You're embarking upon a journey. It's not this quick fix, get to the weight and then maintain. That will never happen. You've got to change your mindset and the way you communicate with yourself first. And that's, really what I hold dear is, this idea of like you start on your journey from a place of love, forgive yourself for what you need to. You say, I am where I am. And as you love yourself down the scale, you emerge, you this new way of communicating with yourself, this new powerful inner coach emerges within you, creating trust, self-trust, self-empathy, just a whole new way of being with yourself and confidence so that when you get to your ideal weight, it's like, that feels pretty good. And now I'm ready for maintenance, and you are ready. Um, Now, the second thing, the ideal weight is not the end or a magic number. Again, we get so fixated on just that number, that magic number. I got to get to this number. It's this thing. But that, when you get to your ideal weight, it really isn't a number, but it's a portal into the next phase of your transformation. Because maintenance is about ownership. Maintenance is really about owning your life in this way that you've created, and really continuing to deepen your skill set that got you to your ideal weight, the skills of weight mastery. And so it is really not just like, oops, I got to this number, I got to maintain. It's like it's an evolutionary, okay, here I am, and now I'm stepping into this new phase of my weight journey, my weight mastery journey. Because maintenance is a phase, and I'm going to walk through this a little more. But that's what a lot of my new maintainers are. They learn. They're like, they've loved themselves down the scale, but now they're at this place of finding the right balance. We're going to get into that in a second, though. 3, create a life you want before you reach your ideal weight. This is key. A lot of us, again, when we struggle with our weight, we're like waiting to date, or when I get to my ideal weight, I will go back to school, or ask my boss for a raise, or I'll start my own company, or I'll, fly to Europe, or, like we put it off living. And that then makes that ideal weight so weighted with other things, other fears. If we have fear about getting into a relationship, and we're getting towards our ideal weight, we might sabotage ourselves on a subconscious level because we've made getting to our ideal weight being about getting in a relationship. You know what I mean? So we want to take on those things now as we're releasing weight, not waiting until we get to our ideal weight, right? So that we want to go back to school now. We want to fly to Europe now. We want to start dating now, and really, and if we do have issues around those or challenges, then we can work on them and love ourselves through them, so they aren't all weighted to that ideal weight. Develop that inner coach and scientist, because you're going to need it for weight release, but you're really going to need it for maintenance. And again, it's that powerful communication system. And, some of you, not everybody, but some people feel vulnerable when they get smaller. Maybe things happen to them earlier in their life where they didn't feel safe or protected, and weight for them was a buffer in the way. Working through that before you get to your ideal weight as you're going down the scale, feeling safe. And again, I always take this back to self-communication, really being the inner parent, and letting that inner child within know, we're safe. I'm an adult now. I can take care of you. We don't need the buffer anymore. We're safe. I'm here for you. I can say no. I can say back off. I can say I've got words. I've got adult words that I can use. So, but yeah, for some people that might be a challenge. And so you can see how getting to your ideal weight might bring up other things, or people paying attention to you. Oh, you look great, or you've lost all that weight, or are you sure you've lost too much weight? Or, how people love to make comments, and you might like some of them, and some of them might really tweak you. You might be, I don't like what they said. And again, when you have a powerful communication system inside of you, that you aren't going, oh my God, what do they say about me? Are they thinking about me all the time? Where you're like, okay, that's them, and they can think what they want, they can say what they want. But I'm me, and I love me, and I'm, cool within my own skin. That's a completely different response. It can take ownership. Now, acknowledge it, of course, and understand that, okay, I'm feeling a little bothered by that. But really being able to be with yourself and show up for yourself. Okay, now I'm looking at my notes. Now, what happens when you reach your weight goal? So one of the things I think is fun to do, because I'm all about identity, and you know that if you've been listening to me for any length of time, is you want to create a maintenance identity. And the maintenance identity is different than a weight release identity, because you are now a person who is maintaining and not trying. You're a person who is maintaining their weight. You're not trying not to gain weight, but you're a healthy person. I'm a healthy person taking ownership of this, weight I'm at, and this is where I am. You're claiming your stake, right? Like how the pioneers went out to the West and they, got their 5 acres and they claimed their stake, and they lived in that plot of land for 5 years before the government said it's yours. And that's kind of like maintenance, you're owning this place, and you're taking ownership. You're saying this is mine, and you're going to live here for a while, and you'll feel like it's yours. But you got to claim your stake and say, I'm here. It's not like I'm afraid I'm going to go back up. It's like, no, I'm here and I'm going to figure it out. You're going to believe in yourself. But you can see how important it is to believe in yourself as you're going down the scale. And get some clothes. Get some clothes that said, I'm here. I'm here and I am taking ownership. Just like the pioneers had to build some kind of, a house on the land to kind of own it. A lot of them built those shanties, and then as they stayed, they built a bigger house and a more solid house, but they had that flimsy shanty in the beginning. But we'll go get some clothes, and they don't have to be shanty clothes. But I'm just saying, take some ownership now, and then as you're feeling more confident, you can buy more expensive clothes or, a bigger wardrobe. But go say, yeah, I'm here and I'm owning this. And then, instead of like, well, what am I going to do? Because, maintenance might feel like, well, I've spent all this energy on losing weight. Now I don't have to lose weight. What am I going to do? Well, weight maintenance really is a hybrid of, your weight mastery journey. I mean, it is your weight mastery journey, and the skills required to maintain your weight are the same skills as releasing weight, the 9 skills of weight mastery that, we get into those skill sets in other podcasts. But, it's really a matter of energy balancing and creating that. Now you're going to create a way of eating that allows you to live at your maintenance weight, right? You created a way of living that allowed you to release weight. Now you're altering and just, and figuring that out. So again, a lot of my maintainers are, in that figuring out phase. Maybe they, try something, and I always say, keeping your weight, 5 pounds above or 5 pounds below that ideal weight line is sort of like the range, putting a line, above and below, so that, if you go above that weight, then that's when you want to start to bring back your weight release skills. But your weight maintenance skills are very much like your weight release skills, but altered for maintenance. So that energy balancing and your environment, like now you can alter your environment skills to get the people in your life supporting you for your maintenance journey. Because a lot of times people forget. They forget, or they'll be like, oh, you lost your weight now, I'm going to go buy some donuts for you. They don't understand that, you're still the same person. You're still the same healthy person that you cultivated. But now you're just in maintenance. So you need to train those people for maintenance too. You need to let them know, hey, things aren't going to be completely different. They're just going to be a little different. Maybe you can help me out here. altering your, making sure you're still keeping your trigger foods out of the house. I think a lot of people feel, oh, I reached my ideal weight. Now I can go eat all those foods that I didn't eat when I was releasing weight. And those foods are your trigger foods are your trigger foods for the rest of your life. So if you eat that food, it's going to light up that neural network in your brain, and you're going to want more and more and more, and then be gaining weight. So, you're still going to have to practice your environmental skills of stimulus control, keeping the foods out of the house that don't serve you, and keeping the foods in the house that do. This is one of the hugest, like, people don't realize that this is such a huge skill of weight management, as shown by many, many studies. Managing that inner critic and the inner rebel. Again, you've cultivated a powerful relationship with your inner coach. And by doing so, that means you've probably also had a wonderful, ability to turn down the volume on the critic and turn down the volume on your rebels. So we want to make sure that that rebel isn't like, hey, you lost all your weight, let's go party. Or your critic isn't like, look at that, you gained a pound and you're going to gain all the weight back. You really, that's now your new head game is, managing those voices from this different perspective. And you may need to gain a few pounds. I know this is going to sound radical. You may need to gain a few pounds to know that you can release them a few times, to feel confident. And that's okay. People will gain a couple of pounds and freak out. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no, this is good. Now you use your weight release skills again, and you get your weight back down. And now you own that. You own getting your weight back down. And then, you can do that. And, in the first year of your weight release or weight maintenance, you'll probably gain some few pounds and release them. And every time you do, you strengthen that muscle of knowing, oh yeah, I can keep homeostasis. I can keep, my weight around the same. And you get used to that amount of eating and exercising that allows you to stay at that maintaining weight. But it takes a little inner scientist to figure that all out. It's not all just like magically going to happen. You've got to really rigorously love yourself and know that this is a project. Maintenance is a project for a while until you kind of develop those skills and feel confident in your skin. And you will, but you got to know this is a process. And, keeping a record and getting clear on these things. That's why record keeping can be so powerful for maintenance too, is that you're getting really clear on, you're not going into cognitive distortion. Oh my gosh, I ate a bag of M&Ms, I'm going to gain all my weight back. No, you just ate a bag of M&Ms, and you can manage that, and that worked out okay for you. You still are within your caloric needs for maintenance, and you're fine. But your ability to, manage and be clear on some of that data, especially in the early days. Now, as you get further into maintenance and you have sort of mastered that homeostasis, then, things like tracking aren't as important. Things like, really being on top of things, unless then you gain some weight and then you can bring it back. But again, most research shows that, so many people who have achieved their ideal weight and kept it there, use tracking and data as a way to get really clear and cognitively clear on the way down the scale. So maintenance also, it's very helpful for too. And, pat yourself on the back. You did this. You are doing this. And you're always self-reinforcing. I want you to think of the first year as training. Like I said, there's, getting clear on things, going through all of the holidays. I always say that to my maintainers. Okay, you're going through your first holiday season, like the end of year holidays, and now you're going through the spring and spring break and tax season, and then the summer, and then summer vacations, and all of these things. Every time you go through, they're kind of like a rite of passage for maintaining your weight, and then you own it. And then the second year, you're really building that confidence because you're going through it all again. But, now you've got it. The second round is kind of like when you have a second kid, you're like, you're not so bothered by everything. You're like, okay, I got this. I can do this. You take the ownership. You're not worried, like you're not all, is this going to work out? And then the third year, really, you begin mastery, meaning like you got this, you're a powerful leader of this to, for other people. If you release weight and keep it off long term, you're a powerful leader for people. They see you, and even if they don't need to lose weight, they see like who you became in order to be this healthy, lean person. And, they want more of what you got, and they're looking at, God, how they do that. That's so cool. Like, how did they show up for themselves in such a powerful way? Because it really does require that. That really requires you being committed to you. And really, like, as you can see, this is a journey that is so fulfilling that you go on, and it isn't just about weight. It is about creating yourself from the inside out. And it's not, and I don't mean like total change of who you are, absolutely not, but total ownership of who you are, and advocating for yourself, and respecting yourself, and showing up for yourself. So, just, it's a journey of transformation you should be proud of. So I hope this was helpful to know where you're going, or if you're already there, hopefully this was helpful as sort of a way to guide you. And that is it for this week here in the beginning of February. Or if you're listening to this later, wherever you are, whatever you are, grab my free Shift Out of Sugar Cravings hypnosis session. The link is in the show notes. And while you're there, sign up for my free masterclass, How to Stop the Start Over Tomorrow Weight Struggle Cycle and Begin Releasing Weight for Good. This is a perfect masterclass in this month of loving yourself, because it's all about eliminating those roadblocks that keep you struggling and really finding those steps forward to success. And you get to test drive a free hypnosis session for weight management. So have a great week. And remember that the key, and probably the only key to unlocking the door of the weight struggle, is inside you. So keep listening and find it. I will see you and be here with you next week. Do you want to dive deeper into the mindset of long-term weight release? Head on over to www.shiftweightmastery.com. That's www.shiftweightmastery.com, where you'll find numerous tools and resources to help you unlock your mind for permanent weight release, tips, strategies, and more. And be sure to check the show notes to learn more about my book, From Fat to Thin Thinking: Unlock Your Mind for Permanent Weight Loss.